Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here today. This is your one-stop shop for cryptocurrency analysis, among many other things. Now we're taking a look at ICP. And no, it's not Insane Clown Posse. I get that question a lot. This is Internet Computer. And this is actually an interesting one because it opened at like $400 or $500 back on May 10th, and now it's down in the 40s, right? So significant decrease in price, extremely oversold, but extremely valuable too, right? So I think I foresee this not going any lower, but again, we'll take a look at the charts and find out. But just know I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. You should always do your own research. Also, if you'd like to do less research, feel free to consider my signal group available through Patreon. I do send 3 to 5 signals per week. Furthermore, I also have a Telegram community if you'd like to get engaged and join and learn as much as you can. That is completely free. So I've got a really good group of folks there. I think you're going to learn a lot. So without further ado, why don't we just go ahead and take a look at it? Let's just go ahead and get right to it. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at ICP. And no, it is not the Insane Clown Posse, even though you're probably feeling pretty insane had you invest in this once it opened. However, if you're new to the channel, what we do is we just take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first to get a baseline of the market, and we'll go ahead and see what's going on. So yeah, again, this is actually ICP, which is essentially what Internet Computer, I believe it's referred to as. now I'm thinking ICP. Oh my God, not good. But needless to say, let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin first and kind of get just a quick understanding of what's going on here. All right, so Bitcoin, this is our friend Bitcoin, right? Oh, how awesome have you been to us recently? Look at this. So we got the pretty strong increase here last 4 hours. We had a, what was that? I haven't marked it yet. That was an increase of about 7%, which is pretty strong. It's not bad at all. It's nice to finally see that for a change because it's been kind of getting beaten down because we have a major support at 30,000 was tested again recently. Major resistance at 42,000. Keep in mind there are two minor supports and resistances. We've got a support at about 31,000 and a resistance at 41,000. So we'll see what happens there, but let's go ahead and turn on our moving averages. And I want to quickly note this here as well. If you're new to the channel, I always use the 200 and the 50-day moving average. These are simple moving averages on the 4-hour chart because the SMA lines work best on larger time frames, whereas the EMAs work better on smaller time frames. So I like to use the SMA for the 200 and the 50, and as we can see here, here's very interesting. Take a look at this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. We had 4 rejections there. It tried to break the 54 hours, 4-hour time frames in a row. So 16 hours we got rejection, and now the 20th they said to heck with it. Let's go ahead and break on through. So the bulls took complete control, and now it blasted through. And if you're new to trading, keep this in mind that the moving averages have a tendency of being broken hard and fast, right? So it's either they get rejected like this and then break through, or they get rejected and just continue to digress. But it's either all or nothing, right? So they broke all the way through. This 4-hour time frame closed, and obviously we're up here in a slight state of consolidation, but that's really good news for Bitcoin. So if we can do a little more sideways action and break through the 200 and get that to close as well, we'll be on our way to 41, 42,000. Okay, so that is fantastic news. We like to see this here. So Bitcoin is essentially on the up and up for the moment because the 50 is working as a support, and we'll see how it responds to the 200 here soon. All right, so that's how Bitcoin works. Now this is Ethereum. And I always like to look at Ethereum too because it's typically the secondary or the go-to for investors when Bitcoin does poorly. At least it used to be, right? So we go back here and we look at this. This whole ramp up here is when Bitcoin went sideways after our April 17th debacle. So that being said, Ethereum usually does this, but instead Ethereum got beat down so hard, from the China candle as well as Elon. Wonderful Elon. Thank you so much. Saturday Night Live, awesome. Thank you. We got this awesome, can I say awesome enough? We got this awesome digression, right? And then, Ethereum just went sideways. It's been kind of struggling recently. So my speculation there is that the market capitalization is going to other coins, the ADAs, the VETs, the MATICs, all the more reliable, stronger opportunities out there. Don't get me wrong, Ethereum's still very good, right? It's still very good. Regardless of its gas fees, it's still fantastic, but the problem is that it's not seeing as much market capitalization recently, so it's selling off. But great news is it's very affordable. Anything under 2,000 is essentially a steal compared to where it should be and could be here in the near future. Do I think it'll break 4,400 again? I don't think so. But I do feel like we're going to see this 2,900 resistance level tested. I do think that. Either way, that's a conversation for another day. That is the scenario for Ethereum at this point. good news is, and I forgot to mention this, the price is above the 50-day moving average, so we got that as a support level at least. All right, let's go over to ICP. And this is a really janky scale because of the fact that, or chart, just because the very first day, I believe this is the ICO date, correct me if I'm wrong, or it was introduced to a few exchanges at this point. May 10th was a unique day, right? Because whomever got in at 28.20, I feel sorry for you. However, the price has just consistently come down, come down, come down. I mean, the second day, sorry, the third day it was open was at about 450, and now it's at 45. So it's literally lost like 90% of its original value when it opened. So, for those of you that got caught in that, I'm so sorry. But let's go ahead and take a look at the 1-day chart here. Let's see here. So yeah, so it's been about, what, 6-7 weeks, and here we are at this point at probably its lowest point. Now I'm going to try to zoom in here without the chart getting all funky on me here, so we can kind of see what's going on. Let's turn on the moving averages. Oh wait, that's right. We're not going to get much of a moving average because we haven't had 50 or 200 days yet of trading, right? So we can disregard that. Let's take a look at the volume. Massive volume spike though. So in the most recent trading day, essentially, the last 24 hours, for lack of better terms, because it's just opened, this new candle, we had the most volume we've seen in ever. So largest volume day ever. That's fantastic. It's a great sign. That shows that the price is increasing. A lot of people are getting back on board because they just got raked through the coals for so many days. But this is good news. So we got that. Let's take a look at the so these charts are a little funky when you got little data, right? So we don't even need to worry about that. Bottom line here is that ICP did very well yesterday, right? All right. So let's look at the 4-hour chart now. We do at least got some decent material here to work with. So first of all, both moving averages were working as resistance levels pretty much the entire time. However, now, as we can see there, big surprise, look, tested, and bounced through, or blazed through essentially, and just completely broke it open, right? So you see that again with major support and resistance levels. I say this in most of my videos. 50 and the 200 on the 4-hour chart more specifically are essentially very major support and resistance levels. And if they're ever broken, they're broken hard and fast. And that happened here. So it jumped up pretty strong in that one little time frame there. So in that 4 hours, it went up 31%. Obviously retraced a little bit, but still did very well. So that's some pretty significant growth in a small time frame for ICP. So that is awesome. And then RSI is still under 70, believe it or not. See, it was so low for so long that it still hasn't creeped up over 70. Even if it were to be over 70, I wouldn't worry about it because of the fact that the price action right now is still, on a steady increase. We need to have, that this kind of price movement to be able to see some benefit. And I'll explain what I mean by that here in a moment, but we're looking pretty good here on the 4-hour chart for ICP. Now on the 1 hour, if you're new to the channel, I turn off my moving averages just so there's less noise because I feel like the moving average is more effective on the 4-hour chart. But I basically turn on the Ichimoku cloud. So this is the only time in which I use the cloud, is on the 1-hour chart. It's the most effective here. And if you're unfamiliar with it or unfamiliar, the Ichimoku cloud essentially tells us when it's a buy signal or a sell signal. So we look back here, just been constant sell signals. Because anytime it's under the cloud, it's considered a shorting opportunity. If it's above the cloud, considered a long opportunity. So it's safe to say right now that ICP is a very good long opportunity at this point. Because honestly, how much lower can it go? Right? It's finally hit that rock bottom, and we're likely going to start seeing some higher highs and higher lows. Again, just based on this chart alone, it's looking to be in very good shape. Let me draw that little line again. I don't like that. All right, because what we're going to do is I'm just going to let this carry over to the next one, the 15 minutes, so we can kind of identify and see what that looks like, right? Because that's right where it covers and jumps up through the cloud. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and enable the EMA and the VWAP. So if you're new to the channel, which I would assume that you are, just based on this being the first time I've covered ICP, we are looking at EMA and VWAP. These are the red and blue lines. Okay, so the red is EMA, that's an exponential moving average. That's the 15 that I use. You'll commonly see the 9 and the 20, but I just split the difference and use the 15 because it works more effectively for me. So the EMA 15 works fantastic on the 15-minute chart or less. Again, EMA lines are better on shorter time frames, so that's why I utilize that. And the blue line here is the VWAP, which is a volume weighted average price. That takes the volume last 24 hours, expresses it as a price. All right, so right now at this given point in time, the VWAP is telling us the price should be $43, whereas the price right now is at $43.42. So what's beautiful about the VWAP lines that not a lot of people use and know about, it's more of a day trader tool, is that it tells you when it's a support and resistance. So it's consistent support and resistance lines. So you don't always have to draw major support and resistance levels, even though it's helpful. You don't necessarily have to do that. So that's the beautiful thing about it. It kind of works with the price action as you continue throughout that trading day. It resets every 24 hours, so be mindful of that, which is why we saw the price just jump up here. Another one too is we also noticed that the, actually that's got a good volume too, but like, for example, there's also a standard deviation lines, right? So when the price goes over and too high outside of these ranges, which are provided by the VWAP, then the price will tend to reject. So we can see that happen here. It got too high and it came back down, tested the VWAP line and came back up. So that's a great thing about it. If you use EMA and VWAP together, you have basically two consistent support and resistance levels, as well as basically a moving average. So the cool thing about the EMA, right? So first of all, the red line there, it works as a momentum indicator. So it's very similar to the MACD. So instead of using just say the MACD specifically as an oscillator on the side, what it does, it takes, because these are both moving averages here, those are at EMA 12 and EMA 26, when they converge, that gives us a buy signal, right? Well, with this EMA line here, it gives us a buy signal when the price action rejects off of the EMA line. Sorry, I'm not doing a very good job there on those lines. So you can see right here, see that? The price comes down, bounces off EMA and VWAP and continues upwards. That's almost the exact same point. Remember I left this line here for us? This is right when the 1 hour chart told us for the Ishimoku cloud that we have an entry and a buy signal. And look at that, coincidentally, we got a really strong candle and it continues upwards. Okay, so these are things just kind of pay attention to. I foresee these kind of signals consistently happening with ICP in the near future, based on the fact that it's so extremely low compared to its open. Yes, it probably opened way too high, but it also has a tendency of coming back, right? So I doubt that ICP is going to be back in the 400s anytime soon, right? Perhaps in years, I don't know. I technically don't understand the fundamentals yet. I'd like to research that. If you do have insight on that, the link in the description below, let me know. But I can tell you that I do foresee this being a pretty good one to pay attention to. In fact, I'm probably going to set some alerts and see if I can get this to maybe consider utilizing this in my Signal group. By the way, I do have a Signal group available, link in the description below, through my Patreon account, that essentially allows for me to provide you, 3 to 5 signals per week, sometimes more. And what that does, it just gives you an opportunity to be able to get in to a trade as early as possible and take some profits. So we had an 83% success rate this week, so it's been very good. I might recommend joining on the first, however, just based on how Patreon does bill you. So keep a lookout for that. But furthermore, what's included in that too is these signals. So do you see down here, it's probably a little muddled there, but do you see these yellow up arrows? Those are basically telling us that that's a buy signal. In other words, my buy signal is to wait for the price to be over EMA and over VWAP, which these are. But what that does, that's telling us that these are two solid green bars. In other words, this 30-minute time frame is closing above the EMA and VWAP, telling us that there's momentum heading in the bullish direction. All right, so for me, 30 minutes is confirmation that I need. Some people have a lot less. On the 1 day chart, that would be a different story, but the 1 minute chart, you might need at least 3 to 5 minutes of confirmation, right? But you don't want to just jump in and hope to buy the bottom. You want to jump in when you know that the bottom has already been hit and the bulls are in control, and you want to follow along with them. That's what this does. So this indicator that I have, it's kind of built in. I share this with my Patreon account, and this is essentially available to you if you'd like. Even if not, you can still kind of understand it by looking for 2 solid green bars above the EMA and VWAP line. This just kind of helps identify that. So to me, I would recommend doing, paying attention to that. But furthermore, when it comes to ICP here, because I know you all want, kind of a prediction, so to speak, to me, I would predict that ICP will be closer to $100 in the next few weeks. But again, this all depends on Bitcoin, right? Because as you can tell, ICP is kind of opening up for 2 reasons. It's been beaten down for so long, it needs to recover, right? What goes down must come up. It's kind of like holding some type of flotation device underwater, right? A full bottle Now, an empty bottle of water, right, full of air, put that under the water, it's gonna try to flow. It's gonna come up eventually. So you can only push price down for so long. That's number one. Reason number two is the fact that this price action is concurrent with Bitcoin taking off here today and doing well and recovering. So kind of take that in consideration. If Bitcoin continues to do well, so will ICP. It will, double in price. It'll go from what 43 to at least 86 or higher in the next couple weeks. Again, based on Bitcoin doing well. So if you invest in this, find a good entry point. I would say sooner the better, and wait until you see what happens with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin does a major sell-off down to 30,000 again, ICP will probably get hit again. Okay. Again, most altcoins perform that way, but I do feel as if ICP is kind of on its own accord for that matter, because obviously when we looked back at the history, it's just been in a constant state of decline, but it's really hard to identify how Bitcoin has affected it because it's just been going down ever since. So I'll probably take a look at this here again soon just to make sure we're paying a close attention to it, see what's going on, but I would venture to guess that ICP will continue to increase. That would be my prediction. And again, I'm going to set some alerts and kind of pay attention to this here as well, because I think that there's definitely room for potential here. Just being as stupidly low in price right now, just that much more benefit you're going to find, right? So hopefully you found benefit from this. Obviously, if you did, like and subscribe, please consider that. But moving forward, feel free to join us on Telegram. There's an awesome community I have there growing day by day. And of course, consider Patreon as well. Just remember to maybe consider registering on the 1st, just because you get the biggest benefit there the whole month instead of just a few days, right? So thank you again so much. Really appreciate your time here. Thanks for watching. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next video. Take care. Thank you.